Hey. Oh my goodness. So I want to talk about Luigi Mangione and actually another historical figure, and I'm going to try to be very, very careful, okay? So let's just say, before we even get into what I want to talk about, that everything's alleged as far as Luigi goes. I do not condone murder or any type of violence or law breaking. I just say it that way. I don't condone it. I might understand it, but I don't condone it. And I'm not a historian. My predictions are just based on what I see. I would say do your own research, figure things out for yourself. You're welcome to comment comments below what you think. And so here we go. So what I want to do before we start talking about Luigi is I want to talk about somebody named John Brown. So John Brown, back before the Civil War, was an abolitionist, okay? And he was also a very religious person. He went to seminary but didn't finish. I think he ran out of money, something to that effect. And long story short, what he did was he got a group of people together. So he was not alone like Luigi, but he got this group of like-minded people together, and they went to Harper's Ferry, West Virginia. And there was the Federal Armory there. And the plan was to go and raid the armory, steal the weapons, and cause an uprising with the slaves to rebel against the slave owners. Now, one of the problems, and this doesn't come up a lot, they say slaves are bad, which obviously it's bad to have slavery. We're not going to dispute that. But one of the things that was the conflict, as far as the government is concerned, was that at the time, the South had a lot of control over what happened in Congress. Okay, because what they were doing was they counted black people as a 3/5 rule. It's called the 3/5 rule. So each black person, slave, counted as 3/5 of a person, and they included that into calculating the number of representatives in the House of Representatives, which gave the South an advantage over the North as far as population was concerned, even though slaves were not entitled to vote. They weren't considered citizens. They were considered property. But they were also considered partial persons. Lots of problems here, right? And I bring this up because what's going on here with Luigi is a lot of significant things. So in our current government, we talk about big pharma, we talk about corporate greed, etc., etc. Well, we know what's happening and who's influencing the lawmakers, and that's the lobbyist. Okay? So they pay and they petition and they go and they hold whatever they do to influence the elected officials, right? Because they got all the money. So they're kind of outweighing the common person. And yet, a lobby doesn't vote. So there right there is another lopsided influence in our government. Just wanted to point that out. I am not encouraging a civil war. Matter of fact, I really don't want to go there. I really don't, okay? The Civil War, there's a lot of romanticism that went behind it. There was a lot of naivety with people wanting to be gung-ho and all that kind of stuff. War is not good, okay? It might accomplish things, but in the meantime, it's expensive, people die, you don't know what's going to happen. People not only die from the actual fighting, but supplies are cut short. There are casualties. People who aren't even soldiers end up getting injured and killed. So I do not want to have a civil war. I hope I'm very clear on that. Okay? I hope I'm very clear on that. What I'm hoping, excuse me, is that our lawmakers open their eyes and take a really good look at what's going on. I really, really honestly hope so. And that's why I keep saying that it's important for us to speak up and let these people know that if they don't start listening to the people, they're going to get voted out of office, okay? Because the lobbyists do not vote. Well, the individuals might, but the lobbies don't vote. Corporations don't vote. People vote. All right, so keep that in mind. But anyway, so what happened with John Brown, he got arrested, of course, and he had a trial, of course, and he was found guilty, of course, and he was hanged, of course. Now, we all agree that slavery is wrong. It's not good. There's a lot of people who say that John Brown was a hero. And there's a lot of people who say John Brown was a criminal because he did do something illegal. He went into the armory. He stole things that weren't his. And before that, he was also part of the massacre in Kansas. I think it was Kansas City, Missouri, and there were people that lost their lives there. So, yeah, he was a bit of a rebel. He did do some things that were technically illegal. I just wanted to point it out, though. He did not make it, and I know, I'm pretty sure Luigi's not going to make it either. I'm pretty sure that. And aside from the fact that I know there's people questioning and saying he really did not commit an act of terrorism, which, by the way, John Brown is considered one of our first domestic terrorists. But because the public isn't afraid, but one of the key factors or key determining weights in whether or not something is considered an act of terrorism is, are they trying to influence the government? And I'm going to say, I got to tread lightly because I'm also trying to influence the government, okay? And I don't really want him to die. I don't want anybody to die. That's the whole thing here, like, people are dying anyway. It's not helping anything. But, yeah, I do think he was trying to be an influence on our government. I do. I honestly do. In which case, by the legal definition that I've read, otherwise, what was he doing? Who was he trying to influence? He talked about corporate greed, and the way that they're getting away with things is by lobbying. We know that. He didn't come right out and say it, but that's what's happening. They are paying off our government, and so they're getting away with the things that they're doing. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe his defense attorney will come out with another explanation. I don't know. Also, I'm going to say this too. We only know what they released to the public. There may be other pieces of information that's being withheld that we don't know about. So this is based on what's available right now at the time that I'm videoing this. There could be something come out that completely changes my opinion of him. I don't know. But that's what we have right now. So, where do we go? Well, right now we just kind of have to wait and watch and see what happens with Luigi, specifically in his situation. But, we agree that, I'm assuming anyway, most of us agree that his cause was a worthy cause, that people have a human right to health care. And so we need to continue to educate ourselves. I'm working on it too. You know, I don't know everything. I'm trying to learn things. And as I learn, I'm passing it along. So we have to continue to have open discussion, okay, where we pass things along and we discuss things in a reasonable way so that we can come to an understanding. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then we need to hold our government officials accountable. We need to hold them accountable, okay? And we need to be careful about our own thoughts. You know, you want to keep your thoughts purposeful and controlled, okay? And not let your emotions, when you're writing to these people or you're calling, you know, you want to try to keep your emotions in check and state your purpose, because that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with entities, not other people. We're dealing with entities who don't have emotions. They have logic, they have reason, they have rationale. Okay, and that's what we need to do. We need to stay logical, we need to stay reasonable, and we need to have rationale, not emotion. And I'm sorry, because I know how it feels, okay? And I can do a video on this if you're interested. You know, I live with a guy who's a double amputee, okay? He's got no feet. And the reason why is because he was uninsured for many, many years, and his diabetes got out of control. So if you want to talk about that, because there are some videos here and there with Ray, and somewhere way back there was an emotional video where, but I can talk to you about that from my perspective as a loved one. But just let me know, I'll tell you that story. But yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to put the government on a corrective action. All right. Anyway, I will talk to you later. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe.